2, and I just started my intro and realized that I was muted. Alright, but up to 18 drivers for this 11th round here of LSR, and I forgot how to hide the spectator menu. There we go. But yeah, just finishing loading everybody in. But yeah, 18 drivers. We are expecting a potential 19th driver to be joining us at some point in this race. As you can see, a number of drivers looking to be first out of the pits. Definitely a little bit of a mixed up grid today. A couple of drivers who we normally see up towards the top of the order, sadly unavailable this week. Though hopefully they should be next weekend for the finale at Abu Dhabi in what's been a very exciting, very eventful LSR Group 2 season. 9 different race winners, if this is your first race joining us. And so, yeah, has been very interesting. And we come to Interlagos, which I would expect to be another very, very tight race. We had Group 1 yesterday, which was somewhat unsurprisingly won by B-Tom on a race where we saw some rain toward the end, but it was a bunch of really tight racing all throughout. You're probably going to see a number of different strategies here. Safety cars definitely can play a factor, as the circuit, very tight in spaces, but plenty of high-speed portions of the track to consider as well. So, a lot to consider in this one. We'll stay on board here with LAF as he comes blasting down to turn 1, driving for Red Bull today. Of course, you come down into the Senna S's. You got that downhill. Very easy to get a little bit of a track limits warning here or there, just trying to push for that best time possible. And then got one of the 2 DRS zones on the circuit, running into Descida del Lago, turn 4. Kind of got that long turn 4, second best realistic overtaking spot on the circuit, and then you kind of continue that into turn 5. Up the hill into 6 and 7, going to be single file by this point. Could see a couple of drivers lose the back end through there, just trying to push that a little bit too hard, and then you got to slow it down for 8, which is rather slow corner. You got 9, get on the power, traction very important out of there, got the little kink of 10, and the slowest corner on the circuit where Hamilton and Albon collided a few years ago, turn 11, turn 12. Again, another spot where you could see a couple of mistakes here. It's going to be really crucial to get that right. And then, turn 13, 14, 15, and 16, not effective corners, as they are pretty much flat out all the way to the line. DRS going to open up once again on that Red Bull, going to keep it really tight to that inside wall as he comes to the line. And the bar has been set at a 108.253 by LAF in that Red Bull. So we'll have to see what happens there. But plenty that could happen. Boyd Dawson, 108.982. We got one of the McLarens. That is Ollie Jelly with a 107.17 as he goes to the top of the order. Emre Chedin slots in 3rd. Formula Jonah in 4th as he looks to continue his championship challenge. Bartu, of course, down there in 18th, does have a quali ban. So something to consider there. Strakasaur, 108.9650, so not a great first time from the Alpine, who's fighting his teammate of Kendricks for that Drivers' Championship here in season number 9. Of course, you do get a couple extra points here in LSR this season. 3 points for pole, 2 points for second, 1 point for third. And here comes Isha the line, only good enough for P5, 108.638, so a decent chunk off the mark there. So should be interesting. I guess something else to consider is that we got a sneak peek of what all our liveries will look like in next year's game. As with F175, we got a sneak peek at everything there. So we'll get a bunch of, a good chunk of redesigned liveries there. Boak's on an outlap. Sayal moving his way around. As we do have, hopefully, driver number 19. I will try to get in. As apologies. Just some of the challenges here. There we go. Yeah, 13 minutes left in qualifying, and it's Ollie Jelly on top. Okay, Abney okay, solid time in there, 108.263. Again, bar 2 diving into the pits there after setting that setup. Eric, too fast for you, meanwhile. 108.0 from the Aston Martin as a number of drivers come to the line. I believe that's Rostamol 111.639 as he'll give way to one of the Ferraris. I believe that is Speedy Gunner on the lap. So once again, I will try to invite our 19th driver. So looking like a 19-car grid if hopefully Giannis can get in. Yeah, Speedy Gunner out there on the mediums for the time being. Eric doing a little lawn mowing. Formula Jonah, meanwhile, goes third fastest on a second push lap. So he'll bring that Ferrari around. But yeah, was talking a little bit earlier about strategies can be rather interesting here. Soft to medium, I think, is going to be, or medium soft, is going to be the way to go. Again, going to try one more time. We may not be able to get our 19th driver in, which would be disappointing. But again, would have to kind of deal with that. Isha diving into the pits there. Strakasaur, again, 13th quickest. Bar 2, retiring from the session, of course, does have that quali ban to serve. But yeah, Debo making his way around. Speedy Gunner, 11th quickest on a set of mediums, so he could be certainly up there. Strakasaur, meanwhile, only 12th quickest. And again, the Alpines really all year have not been necessarily great in quality. Hello, Jonah, how you doing? But, you know, it's been their race pace that's been the real difference maker in this season. So we'll have to see there. But yeah, bunch of drivers out on laps right now. One of the other drivers out on a lap is the provisional pole sitter of Ollie Jelly, who's going to actually improve on that time through the first sector, which of course is just the Senna S's. But again, very important to get all the time possible through there. And so again, blasting up here into Sector 2 does have a Haas and his teammate of, at least this weekend, of Owen out in front of him. Is all looking to hopefully keep his championship hopes alive. But here comes Ollie Jelly around the final corner. And to the line. Again, going to keep it very tight. DRS wide open at the back. And here he comes. It's going to be an improvement by 0.2 for the provisional pole sitter. So 107.615 for Ollie Jelly. Very competitive there. And on what is a not very busy track. So Emre Chetin pushing through the lap. He's going to set a personal best second sector. But he's still going to be down a 10th and a half. So I wouldn't expect an improvement there. And Owen, meanwhile, has matched his first sector. Yeah, Owen now making his way through to Sector 2. As again, nobody really threatening Ollie Jelly as of this moment as we cross under 8.5 to go in qualifying. Owen, though, up about 0.2, so picked up a good bit of time in that second sector. As he is deputizing for Viperize. So Owen going to keep it a little bit wider coming to the line, but is going to jump up. It's going to be a 0.2 improvement. But will only be good enough for P7 there, as a number of drivers looking to come out for their second laps of qualifying. One of them right now is the provisional P2, so the guy starting alongside Ollie Jelly on the front row of Eric. DRS going to open up there. Got a couple of cars coming out of the pit lane that have to dive out of the way, but it is going to be, again, a slight improvement for Eric there in the first sector. Bartu has disconnected. So we'll try to get him back in. May have been just due to him stepping away and some inactivity there. Actually, it seems that his Wi-Fi may have shut off. But Eric down through 2 sectors. Coming around the final couple of corners to the line. Looked to be a little bit of a bobble over the curb there. So may lose a little bit extra time trying to keep it super tight. Actually is going to improve by 1/4 of a second. So potentially picking up that little bit extra time there. Maybe that bobble wasn't as bad as it seemed. But closes that gap to almost 2/10 from Eric. Too fast for you. Again, Giannis, I'm not seeing you as online for the moment. Again, apologies, kind of just flicking through the menus here. Happens from time to time. As Tolkien has joined, I don't know who invited him, but he should not be in here. So that's great. As there is Bartu, who I can re-invite. Again, apologies for flicking through the menus. There's Giannis. And there is Bartu. So we'll see if some of those drivers can get back involved. But Emery Chetin making his way around. The man currently in provisional P6 might actually get a little bit of a tow on the Mercedes in front. Again, keeping it very tight, almost going over the track limits there, but is only going to match his lap time, his best lap time. So 108.303. So we'll see if we can get around and improve. It does look like we may be topped out at 18, as we do have some joining issues. We do try to get everybody in before we start the race, or start even qualifying as Seau around the final corner into the line. Maybe a secondary push lap here from him. Still plenty of energy in the tank. So we'll see if the Haas can jump up the board. He may be at risk as well of not being able to get a secondary lap in, just due to the amount of time still on the clock. And he's actually going to lose a decent chunk of time there through Sector 1 and look to be a bit of a lockup. He's going to run wide, and that's going to be even more time. So I'd be shocked if Seau does improve from that P7. It means he's got a lot of pace in the tank. Dachal, 9th quickest, so a good lap time there. As he looks to try and climb back up the order. Again, I don't know if Bartu is back, so we'll definitely try to re-invite him. So we'll see if he can make it back. But yeah, Seau, 2/10 down through 2 sectors and a bit of a slide there as we just flicked over. So I'd be shocked if he manages to improve. Yellow flag does seem to be for nobody, actually. So seems good there. So we'll stay on board with the Sauber of Isha here. 3.5 minutes to go here in qualifying. So you can see him having to recover a little bit of ERS there. As coming to that Sector 2 timing marker, only up 1/10.5. So the Sauber not exactly flying here, as Bartu has been able to rejoin. So Bartu will be with us for the race. Rear wing going to open on Isha's car as he'll come to the line. Enough for 7th quickest, so improves by about 1/4 of a second. But that very well may be the his last lap of this qualifying session, as it's going to be a very big challenge unless he put enough fuel in his car to jump up from that P7. Formula Jona, meanwhile, in 3rd for Ferrari, sitting in a very comfortable spot right now, 108.1, as he makes his way out of turn 3 and is going to open up that rear wing. The Williams avoid Dawson, you can see there in the background, and Jonah picking up time there as well. We'll jump to Dawson. As Strakosaur and Kendricks 12th and 13th. Dawson, meanwhile, up 2/10 there, kind of trailing Jonah, who's actually going to give way. So I think Jonah may have invalidated through to Cita Delago. And so Void will stay on board with the Williams of Dawson. So apologies. That was my racing stand you may have just heard. We'll see kind of what happens there. But yeah, Dawson, again, making his way through Sector 2, 108.9. And Dawson, of course, won the opening round at Circuit of the Americas in changeable conditions, but is only up about a tenth and a half, so lost a little bit of time through that second sector, and a big slide coming out early in Sector 3. Once again, that rear wing going to open, but that slide going to cost him a lot of time as we start to come towards the closing stages of qualifying, and it's only good enough for P12, 108.850, so it does put him ahead of both Alpine cars. But again, just not great. And Jonah, of course, going to be getting back underway after either taking a kind of backup lap to potentially burn off that little bit of extra fuel. Again, a number of cars now on push laps. Isha being one of them, has matched that first time in Sector 1, but maybe the first of the drivers here to get a final lap in. Up the road a little bit is the McLaren of Owen, who will certainly get a lap in. But every driver on a push now is probably on their last one. Keep an eye as well on those Aston Martins, going through the hairpin now, as they may struggle to get a final lap in if they want to space out enough. But Isha, on the final push lap here in qualifying, or his final push lap in qualifying, where can he slot in? It'll only be 6th quickest. Here comes with a Haas of Sao to the line behind him, so he'll start a lap, as will DeChal. I believe that was LAF to the line. He's just starting a lap. The Aston Martins will get it in comfortably, as Eric, who currently sits P2, will get underway. Formula Jonah, meanwhile, down a little bit. We'll see if he continues to push. Yeah, I think he took a bit of a recharge. So Formula Jonah is going to get another shot. Emery, Chenton, and Void Dawson will not improve. Strakosaur and Kendricks may have had a bit of an issue, as Kendricks jumps up into 8th. But did the two teammates have a miscommunication there that has led to Strakosaur being unable to improve? I'm not sure, but that's going to take them out of contention for the top spots. Owen goes 4th quickest. Jonah matching his first sector time. Ollie Jelly matching his time through about 2 sectors. Going to go a little bit into the grass on the outside there. He'll come to the line. He's going to improve to a 107.607, so not a massive improvement. LAF, 3rd quickest. Eric, slightly up through Sector 1. Let's see what he's at through Sector 2. He's up a quarter of a second. So Eric now threatening Ollie Jelly's chances at a pole position. Where's Formula Jonah at? He's up slightly as well. So could he potentially take a point away from LAF? Eric, too fast for you. Coming around the final corner and to the line. His teammate goes 6th. Eric goes pole with a 107.4. What can Jonah do in the final sector? Can he jump up any positions? No. He'll start behind LAF. So it's Eric taking pole, unless Debo Croc can do anything about it, which it doesn't seem like he will. Debo will go to 13th, but it's Eric too fast for you. On pole here in Interlagos, and that's 3 points for him, 2 for Ollie Jelly, 1 for LAF. But there is your order. Quick reminder to everybody, do not ready up until you see the countdown timer pop up before the race start on the grid. Formula Jonah will start the countdown after 2 minutes on the grid, so do not ready up immediately. Jonah will do it. Make sure you have settings, and race strategy set. Thanks. I realized that after I switched off only voice chat, I forgot to unmute my controller again. So I was going over the starting grid and forgot to do that. So my bad. I forgot to do that. But yeah, on the grid, Eric from Ollie from LAF. So all those drivers, again, receiving a couple of points. So we do have a 2-minute break here between qualifying and the race. So I guess, yeah, a couple things to consider here. Fuel, you're probably going to go a little bit higher than you would in some of the other races. Especially depending on how much downforce you're running. 7th gear, holding 7th gear down some of the straights may be a little bit better, which means you're going to probably hold a little bit higher RPMs as you come down in turn 1, burn off that little bit of extra fuel. It depends on how low you want to go. Do you want to gamble on that safety car and potentially have to save about that lap of fuel? In terms of tire strategies, it's going to be very safety car dependent as to what the stop strategy is. You could definitely use the hard compound tire, but I think most drivers are going to want to try to stick to the soft or the medium compound tire. But again, hards have a really solid life. We saw yesterday in Group 1 that, granted with the assistance of a couple of safety cars, there was definitely, Tolkien in the Mercedes will not score points, just as a heads up as well, because he should not be racing. So that is a concern. Yeah, again, hopefully should not drastically impact, as I would expect him to retire. Yeah, again, hopefully you all are doing well. Just waiting for the countdown to start there. And again, waiting for that kind of countdown drill. 1 minute from Jonah. Or probably under that now. So it should be getting underway before too much longer now. But again, should be starting that countdown before too long. If you got any predictions for the race, definitely feel free to throw them in the chat. Definitely be interested to see who your favorites are heading into this race. But countdown should be starting now, so under 30 seconds before we look to get racing. Again, 18 cars in contention here. Again, Tanner Alkin. Again, I didn't see him join, so I don't know how he is in here. But just waiting to jump to the grid now. And then we'll get underway for 36 laps here in the sun in Brazil. Here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights. And we're underway here in Brazil. Looks to be a good getaway from Eric. Ollie Jelly, though, looking to make a move up the inside. Ollie gets a great jump there. Both drivers on the front row on the mediums. They're going to go side by side through the Cent S's, but Ollie Jelly going to walk away with the advantage here. He's going to go down the inside and take the lead here on lap number 1. Debo had a very tough time there getting away at the start, but it's Ollie Jelly who's going to lead into turn 1, LAF into third. Emre managed to get a spot as driver's going to scramble there through turn number 4. as a couple of drivers dropping down the order. You can see them scrambling there in the background. Again, Ollie Jelly able to take the lead here on lap number 1. We'll pull up the detail real quick to see the tire choice for everybody. Emre Chetin surprisingly picking up a position despite opting for the hard compound of tire. But mediums for most of the grid. Softs for Kendrick, Speedy Gunner, and Boyd Dawson, as Guardian Knight looks to go around the outside of the Aston Martin of Avni OK, as they're going to go side by side now, keeping it very tight, and the Sauber able to make it happen. But no DRS here, of course, on lap number 1 as we run down the hill and into turn number 1. Of course, go a little bit uphill into turn 1, but Ollie Jelly going to lead him across the line. It's a very close pack, though. And DRS, of course, now activated. Eric going to run very deep there at turn 1. And now, actually, he's going to have to defend here from LAF, as Tolkien is going to retire from the session there. So, luckily, not going to impact the overall flow of the race. But Ollie Jelly going to, once again, lead them fairly comfortably. 3/4 of a second the advantage as they run into turn 1 as Eric. Very bad run there. But, again, going to be largely single file here once you get to this point. And now it's a matter of Eric. Can you keep with Ollie Jelly? Formula Jonah dropping another spot, this time to Guardian Knight. Kendrick as well is running solid here in the early stages. He's up into 7th. And Strakasaur down there on 14th. Looks to be playing that long game with his teammate. But we'll run around to start lap number 2 here. And it's a comfortable lead here for Ollie. About 3/4 of a second there. Formula Jonah is going to be gaining here on Isha. There's going to be 2 cars looking to the inside. There's Kendricks looking to the inside. There'll be 2x2 there through turn 1. Isha going to take advantage of what seemed to be a mistake by Emre, as will Kendricks. Formula Jonah looking to take advantage as well, but he's going to be boxed in. Here comes Avni OK around the outside as they're going to open up DRS once again. And it doesn't look like anything's going to happen. Formula Jonah going to try and put it down the inside. He's going to have to try to both attack on Emre and defend from Avni. As again, look at this scramble coming up the hill. Avni taking a peek to the inside. Will he tuck in? He won't. He'll chuck that Aston Martin in there, and he'll have the inside. Can he hold on here? And he finally will be able to take that position. Jonah, though, continuing to fight. Bartu, meanwhile, up into 11th. Good exit there from Jonah. Can he finally secure the deal? It was great wheel-to-wheel battling here. Front 3, meanwhile, starting to make a bit of a breakaway in this fight. Avni, again, going to finally tuck it. Actually, no, Avni going to continue to keep it around the outside. As for about a full lap now, the Ferrari and the Aston Martin side by side. And, of course, that's going to allow the cars up ahead to make a bit of a breakaway. LAF setting a new fastest lap of the race. Kendricks making his way past Isha down into turn number 1, taking advantage of those soft compound tires, though having a little bit of a wiggle there. As again, Kendricks, trying to open up that gap as much as possible to his teammate of Strakasaur, is going to come under threat here in the run down to turn number 1. Battle at the front, starting to spread out, staying spread out a little bit, and Kendricks as well. Enough straight line speed. Car damage was off. Okay, so a bit of a mistake there. So that's disappointing. Thank you for letting me know, at least. I did. I was pretty sure that I read that. But again, that was my mistake. So, no, you did not. You did not send me any message. You sent me the message after we started the race, so you did not warn me. You told me afterwards. You sent that at 1:34. The race starts at 1, man. You did not warn me. But Ollie going to hold the lead into lap number 1. Or into turn number 1, start of lap number 5. You're not an admin. You don't get any say in that. But again, kind of two packs forming as it stands. So we'll continue racing here. Isha has taken advantage now over Kendricks. Those softs potentially starting to lose some of their potency. DRS, of course. Yes, again, I'm considering it. You are not a driver in this race. You are not an admin. So that is why I'm not telling you something right now. In fact, you shouldn't even be in the lobby. Even if you did figure that out. Avni OK, meanwhile, making the move there on Emre Chetin there in the background. Keep an eye on them as they now make their way through the Senna S's. Emre has run pretty solidly on that hard compounded tire. Straxor has been struggling a little bit, but may just be content to be in a position at the tail of this field, looking to go long, try and get a big undercut working. As Dawson now going to retire from the session. That's in the pit lane, so no safety car there. But yeah, Ollie now, I think, looking to take advantage here, as a couple of mistakes from Eric has led that gap to open up. So down to 17 drivers. And again, you got a big pack trailing Guardian Knights Sauber. But it's a big gap to the cars ahead, and Ollie has managed to get a bit of a breakaway here. So here comes LAF looking to the inside of the Aston Martin. Going to be a little bit braver on the brakes. Going to go side by side here through the Senna S's. Eric going to come out with the advantage, at least temporarily. And both drivers actually managing to get DRS there. So surprisingly, Eric getting DRS. Meanwhile, in the background, Isha going to have to defend. Here comes Kendricks. Isha going to defend the inside. So Kendricks going to try to go the long way around. Do those softs have enough pace to hold on? They do not. And so Kendricks going to come under threat now from Avni OK. Kendricks holding that inside and is actually going to lose that position, so potentially dumping a lot of ERS. That's a big slide there from Emre. Manages to hold on. There's a Mercedes who has to take avoiding action. That's Dachal. So they'll all hold on, and again, it's just another scramble to manage to hold on to those machines. As into the back of the car ahead goes Owen. Emre, meanwhile, manages to get the move done on Speedy Gunner. So tire temperatures potentially becoming a factor, but Ollie Jelly now potentially taking a bit of a push lap. Eric has managed to close up very nicely there. Now down to within a quarter of a second. LAF again still holding on to the back of that field, or the back of this lead pack, I should say. As again, 8 laps in, and they're going at it. LAF closing on Eric, but again, not quite enough there, as Ollie Jelly has a bunch of really nice runs there through turn 1, and that's what's making the difference. Formula Jonah now, as those softs on Kendricks' car potentially starting to fall off, as he's going to lose another position. So that's Jonah now up into 6th. So again, really interesting to try and figure out who is in the best possible situation among these drivers. Straxor and Seau, meanwhile, battling here through the middle sector. The Alpine potentially looking to try to make those hard tires start to work. He's going to put it down the inside. Haas going to go the long way around. Going to hold the inside now as they'll remain side by side. Straxor, of course, able to carry that a little bit more speed, and Haas going to have to concede. Yeah, Bartu up into 9th. But not in the best situation. Of course, on those mediums, definitely kind of 7th on that strategy right now. But certainly in the fight, and something going to be interesting to see how those mediums start to fall off in comparison to the hards. Likely in a couple laps' time. Let's see when exactly the hard becomes that strongest compound of tire. But I think if you're the likes of Strakosaur and Emre, you hope that that point is sooner rather than later. Ollie Jelly, meanwhile, leading since lap 1 as we approach the quarter of the race mark. here comes now Avni OK, looking to the inside of the Sauber. He'll get that move done. Again, Ollie leading here on lap number 10. Here comes Isha, though, once again, as he and Avni will once again swap places. So the two up there at the front continuing to work together a little bit. So keeping it comfortable. As again, now those packs are starting to lengthen out a little bit as DeChal has fallen off the back of that chase pack. As Speedy Gunner dropped down, Sayout has dropped down, Strakasaur now on the, continues to be on that kind of tail end. Once again, that kind of chase pack here. Thank you. Yeah, again, lap number 10 here, and again, Bandit the lead, again, has just been comfortably controlled here by Ollie Jelly, though again, potentially a little bit of, our ERS and fuel concerns are gonna start to become an issue. As they'll battle into turn 1, they're looking to be 3 wide. Abney is going to take P4. Jonah go down the inside, but there's contact there. And so Isha goes around, going to be ghosted in behind. But they'll carry there into turn 1. And so Bartu going to drop down to 7th. He's actually going to drop all the way down to 8th now. As a yellow flag, what is that for? Not sure what exactly that yellow flag was for. But nobody dropping down the order. But yeah, now it's Abney 4th, Jonah in 5th. Emre sits in 6th. There's now, that's Kendricks diving into the pits. He's looking to get off that soft compound tire. Isha going to move up. Again, going to put pressure on Owen to stay out wide. But yeah, Guardian going to hold on to that. But has fallen out of DRS range of his teammate. Abney OK, meanwhile, going to go defensive here into Decida Delago. He'll manage to hold on. Ollie Jelly, though, bad run through there, so those mediums starting to be an issue. And so Eric going to try to sweep around the outside. That's going to be onto the grass for Ollie Jelly. Here comes LAF around the outside. So we have a new race leader in your pole sitter. LAF, meanwhile, going to give Ollie a little bit of a squeeze there. DRS, though, going to open on the Red Bull and the McLaren into turn 1. Eric going to go defensive to the outside. LAF, though, going to go around the outside. Eric going to have the inside now. And so now LAF takes the lead, and Eric under threat from Ollie as they'll bang wings. I understood that. It was just, I'm also trying to focus and, I at least have a kind of thought process here. Again, just looking to pan out there. LAF, big wiggle. There goes Eric around the outside, as will Ollie Jelly. So once again, all three leaders kind of swapping positions here. Once again, now opening up to about 3 packs, at least of the drivers who have yet to pit. Kendrick, of course, is going to be the leader of those who have boxed down there in 15th. Bit of a gap to Speedy Gunner. But of course, what is going to be more effective here is going to be able to train with DRS as the leader is coming down in turn 1. Rear wing going to open up for Ollie Jelly as we start lap number 14. McLaren looking the inside, but not quite going to be able to do anything with it. Formula Jonah, meanwhile, able to take sway ahead of Avni OK. There goes the Aston Martin out of the inside. Here comes Abney looking to fight it back. Eric going to get 3 seconds due to track limits, though, as he runs a bit wide there at the Cita del Lago. Then a bit further back, it's going to be Isha fighting back at Owen. In much the same spot, looking around the outside. Emery Chetin, meanwhile, now, as Formula Jonah, potentially a bit of a mistake, as he's going to run wide. So now Jonah will fall to the tail of this pack. Again, maybe some time to manage those tires, bring the temperature down if possible. There's going to be Eric, again, leading this this group here on lap number 14. It's going to be really interesting to see what strategies are. Are we going to see medium to hards here? Are we seeing medium to soft for some of these? Here comes Ollie into the pits. He thinks that medium hards is the way to go, as LAF going to follow him in. And Ollie actually going to pick up a lot of time here in the pits. No, numerous other drivers, though, staying out. Owen going to come in as well, so a bit of a double stack here from McLaren. But yeah, what tire choice is it from the two leaders? It's hards on both Ollie Jelly and LAF, so medium to hard, the way to go for those lead two. Owen is going to be slowed down a little bit by swapping his tires, but he'll go to the hard as well. And Ollie Jelly should come out, yeah, very comfortably ahead of Kendricks. As yeah, now, and the better part is he'll potentially have LAF to work with as well in trying to get that undercut on Eric, try and pull away a little bit. Jonah, meanwhile, seeming to really start to struggle on that set. I'd be surprised if we don't see a kind of second train of cars coming in to box this lap. Eric making his way around. And Eric will actually dive into the pits here. So the race leader here on lap 15 is going to get that Aston Martin slowed down very nicely to dive into the pits. His teammate of Abney OK will double stack it, though, which means that Emre Chetin on the hard compound tire will take the net lead of this race. Surprisingly, only 2 cars in the pits, so Ollie Jelly opts to stay out, so we'll jump on board with the McLaren. As the Aston Martin is released from the pits, Ollie making his way through 1, 2, and 3 now. And, of course, does have LAF trailing as Bartu takes the net lead. But we're going to stay with the leader after pit stops, who's actually going to come out side by side with Eric, who had a great in-lap. Going to try to go around the outside as Ollie. Going to be pushed a little bit wide. Going to continue to press the issue, though, as they head up the hill. But it is Eric who's able to have a great in-lap and stay out in front of Ollie Jelly, who's going to take a peek to the inside, try and get it done under braking as we head into the slow portion of the racetrack. As again, he'll try to hang around the outside, but Eric, again, just able to hold on there. And so we'll have to see how that battle continues to develop. But it is still Eric as your net leader. As we'll come around to start lap number 16. Top 2 stays out. Formula Jonah stays out. Isha will come in, but he seems to be the only one in the top 6. Seau will dive in as well. So we'll give our leaders 2 extra spots. Ollie seemingly going on the attack with ERS. He's going to take a bit of a late move to the inside there. Try and put Eric off, but Eric able to defend again very nicely there. And I think saving up a little bit of ERS to come around here, though he's got Ollie right on his gearbox, and Ollie this time going to have DRS taking a look to the inside. And Ollie able to get that move done as they head into turn number 4. And it's again the McLaren now up in the net lead of this race. So, lap 17 here, and Bartu, I think, telegraphing that he'll dive in the pits, and he will. Formula Jonah, meanwhile, once again opting to stay out, as does Dechal. Straxor, meanwhile, now up into 5th, but again, is going to be getting rather significantly undercut here. Emre Chetin, then, is the net leader of this race, as leaders after stops going into turn 1. They're going to back out of that move, as everybody going to be kind of comfortably there, ahead of Bartu. Speedy Gunner and Owen battling side by side into turn one. It's going to be Speedy that is ahead as they finish braking there. Meanwhile, as they come down in turn four, again, still Ollie holding on to that edge, as Eric as well with that 3-second time penalty. So that could be a big factor there, as well as kind of LAF kind of there just waiting in the wings for something to happen. But I think if you're Formula Jonah and DeChal at this point, you're trying to hold on to get that soft tire slapped on your car to see what happens there. Once again, everybody opting to stay out. Meanwhile, this again, the likes of Ollie, Eric, and LAF continue to close up to those top four. So again, just kind of waiting to see what happens there. Avni OK, meanwhile, up into 8th. So we'll come across the line for lap 19. 4.3 second lead for Emre. So again, running very comfortably up there at the front. But I think those mediums are starting to fall off. Jonah once again off to stay out, as does DeChal, as does Strakasaur. Strakasaur, of course, does have DRS advantage, but Ali Jelly now only about 2.5 seconds back of that top four. As they come up the hill. Again, Ollie just comfortably out in front, but we saw that his tires potentially will start to fall off a little bit quicker than those around him. So could that prove to be a factor in this race? It'll be 16 to go next time we cross the line. So just creeping closer and closer to a potential hard to medium for either Strakasaur or Emre, should they choose to go down that route. Emre will dive in here, so I believe that is what he's going to be going for. Got to, of course, get that car slowed down, which he will. That'll leave Formula Jonah in the lead of this race. So what's going to be the tire choice for the V-Carb as he dives into the pits is going to be a set of mediums for him. Again, after a strong first stint, it's going to be an interesting question to see where he comes out as he is now released. So he may slot in behind Avni and Bartu. And actually, no, he'll slot in behind Kendricks, but on a much stronger set of tire. You can see Avni looking to make a move to the inside. He'll get that done on Bartu. Eric, meanwhile, ahead of Strakasaur now, as has Ollie Jelly. So the leaders on the one-stop have caught these drivers further up towards the front. So again, at this point, it's trying to manage racecraft. You got to be patient here, especially with these drivers on significantly older tires, and not throw away your race. LAF gets by Strakasaur. So I'd expect to see Jonah and DeChal in this lap. As a bad run through there from Jonah, he's, as LAF going to go into the back of Eric, who manages to recover that car. Ollie Jelly, meanwhile, will be up into third. DeChal, meanwhile, will dive into the pits. He'll finally swap off that set of mediums. And that leaves Formula Jonah with a 2.5 gap to the cars ahead. But of course, we'll have to defend now from LAF as softs slapped on DeChal's machine. Strakasaur, surprisingly enough, opting to stay out here, despite having to battle with a couple of cars, potentially just looking to get towed along at this point. Now Ollie Jelly right up on the back. And LAF actually going to let Eric back through here. Seemingly. But Jonah now going to be under pressure. So Ollie Jelly now looking to, of course, retake that lead. He'll have DRS advantage into turn 1, which will be great defensively. As Jonah finally dives in the pits here on lap number 22. Look at that car slow down. As Eric sets a new fastest lap of the race. A 1:10.1. And again, can now go chasing after Ollie. Back down into turn number 4 as Emre sets a new fastest lap. Owen, meanwhile, gets both Kendricks and Isha seemingly into turn 1. As the still championship leader has to defend, he's going to drop now down into 10th. Meanwhile, Strakasaur still out there in P4. Lap 23 of 26 now. Yeah, Emre now back up into 6th, so using those mediums to his advantage. As he's managed to comfortably pull away, he's now going to go have DRS advantage over Bartu as Strakasaur finally dives into the pits. Eric closed up to the back of Ollie Jelly there, but is going to remain in 2nd. Does boost Emre back up into the top 5, so potentially looking at a 4th place result from him. It'll be 12 to go next time across. As Strakasaur looking to make his way back up. Is being held up a little bit while trying to get back up into the points. Gonna find the inside of the Haas. Can he find the inside of Debo's Williams as well? And then again, certainly a lot of time to try and catch up. Yellow flag in Sector 3. That is for Boakes, who has gone round. Just kind of on his own there. He'll recover and get back underway. But now it's Eric in the lead. Again, 12 laps left to go, so lots of time. Emre, meanwhile, still ahead of Bartu. Isha, meanwhile, finds a way past Owen as they headed down into turn number 4. Yeah, lap 26. Here comes Ollie Jelly. Going to look to the inside here. DRS advantage. Going to do him well as he'll pull comfortably out in front and retake the lead here. And again, LAF just kind of sitting there, kind of doing his thing. Bartu, meanwhile, finds a way past Emre. So potentially those mediums not working at quite as good of a clip as Emre would have hoped. But again, going to be interesting to see how this race continues to develop. Pack a lot more spread out than it was at one point in this race. But going to be 10 to go next time across the line. So about 16 minutes to go to determine who's going to be victorious here in Brazil. And could it be 10 winners in 11 races as well? LAF definitely going to be trying to strive for that. As contact, Eric into the back of Ollie Jelly. Loads of contact there. LAF tries to get to avoid that. Goes into Ollie Jelly. But Eric initiating the contact there. LAF, of course, with the time penalty. Ollie defending there. LAF looks to get a move done. Not able to do that. As Eric now able to slide back down the inside of LAF. Yellow flag in Sector 2. That's for a Red Bull gone round. That's for LAF, who seemed to make a mistake there. Spin that car, manage to hold on. Is going to try to use ghosting there. Is going to stay ahead of Bartu. So now it's a 2-horse race up at the front. As Debo and Strakasaur both received 3-second track limits warnings. As LAF continue to try and battle there, and it just continues to be more and more, a couple of mistakes there from LAF. I think just trying to scramble that car back. So that promotes Bartu into the podium places. So he is going to run wide there. So potential track limits warning there for the Sauber. It's going to be 9 to go now. Or, sorry, 8 to go now. That time cross. And again, Eric just kind of holding back, seemingly. Here he will come, of course, into turn number 4. Isha and Owen going to swap spots through turn 1. And it is going to be Guardian Knight with at least a temporary advantage. But once again, this battle for the lead very tight between Ollie and Eric. Oaks, meanwhile, takes a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Bartu, meanwhile, has disconnected. So Bartu with a disconnect here. So Emre now back up to the top. That's going to promote LAF likely up into 3rd. Eric, meanwhile, takes the lead here into turn number 1. Ollie gaining, but not going to make the move there into turn 4. Meanwhile, a bit further back, Owen just kind of leading this train that involves Isha and Kendricks for 7th. As Isha going to have DRS, and he's, oh shit. Okay, well that's not what I was hoping would happen. Fuck. That's reportable. Alright, well I took a calculated risk there, and it went for 30 laps, and lap 30 is when the risk did not pay off. Ollie, though, looking the inside. Yeah, so that was a mistake. But started lap 31. It's going to be the Saubers in 6th and 7th. Again, I'll try to see, especially here. There goes Ollie looking to make that move. He's still going to stay tucked in, though, as Ollie has a time penalty as well. Emre a little bit too far back to have any say in the matter as of right now. But again, still Eric holding on to that advantage. Yeah, Barty, though, down to 11th. So again, hopefully he can make his way back in. We'll have to wait and see. As there will be a retirement from Boakes. So a third manual retirement in this one. But it'll be 5 to go. As again, that yellow flag is for Boakes' retirement. Here comes Ollie looking for the lead. 4 to go. And the McLaren retakes P1. Owen, meanwhile, 3 seconds due to track limits, so that's going to continue to make his day more frustrating. Ollie Jelly, meanwhile, trying to drop the hammer here and pull away. Eric, though, still with DRS behind him. As you can see, DRS very powerful here down the main straight. It's closing up about half a second there, thanks to that alone. It'll be, 2 laps to go this time cross. As Eric and Ollie look to continue to jostle for their first wins. Yellow flag was for Dachal, I think? Not sure what happened in that slow part of the racetrack. But Eric going to take the lead there into turn 1. So 2 laps to go here. And will we see a little bit of gamesmanship? Yellow flag in Sector 2. That's for a Haas that looked to take a half spin there. Is Eric going to defend from Ollie Jelly? Emre has managed to close up a little bit, so taking a quick look at penalties, it is still 3 seconds. But it's going to be 1 to go, and Ollie will have the advantage of DRS here. So we'll start the final lap here at Interlagos. And Ollie going to take a peek to the inside, not able to get the move done, though. There goes Eric with a bit of a half spin, though, trying to carry a little bit too much speed. It's going to hold up Ollie a little bit. So here we come, down into turn 4 for the final time, into Descida del Lago. Going to be dumping all of that battery here. And it's going to be Eric still holding the advantage here. We got a spun Red Bull there of LAF. I believe that was on his own. And he's not able to get back going. So he'll drop down into 9th on what is a very old set of hard tires. But Eric continuing to hold it here on lap 36. Emre Chetin in the background, waiting for something to potentially happen. We'll go into the final sector of the racetrack. Debo Croc steals that point, 4 fastest lap away. But it's going to be a drag race to the line here. Ollie Jelly, great exit there. He's going to be right on the back of Eric. So they're going to come around the final corner to the line. Eric going to defend the inside here. Ollie going to have to go around the outside. It's going to be a drag race to the line. It's going to be Ollie Jelly coming out on top by just about a tenth of a second. It's going to be Emre coming home in 3rd. Avni in 4th. It should be Kendricks then in 5th. As these drivers will battle to the line. As that's a big mistake there from Owen, and that'll make it worse. Owen going to drop down into 9th. All right, so I took a calculated risk there with the safety car, and that was a mistake. Noted. Strakosaur 11th, Speedy 12th, Sayal, Bartu, Debo, Rostamol. But yeah, apologies there for the settings being incorrect. Yeah, and then I made a judgment call in the race, which again, you know, judgment call held up for 30 laps, which was good, but sadly at the end there, got less than clean. So again, apologies there, but congratulations to Ollie winning that one in the drag race to the line. So we'll head to the final round at Abu Dhabi next week. Should be, hopefully, a good one. But again, congrats to Ollie for being only the 2nd driver to win multiple races this season. Kendricks does receive Driver of the Day in an attempt to, even though he has not fully locked up the drivers yet, it should be a constructors lockup for Alpine. But of course, there are your results. No bonus point for fastest lap, but Ollie and Eric picking up points for starting position, as will LAF down there in 8th. There's your top 10, and so I do hope that you'll join us next week or later today for Group 3. Again, apologies there. Apologies as well, just since I wasn't operating at 100%. But yeah, we'll see you either next time or later.